It's Gracie from the Music Enthusiast blog, and today I'm here with UPSAHL. Hi, how are you?
What's up? How are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this will be fun. I'm excited.
All right, we'll get right into it. What made you want to get into the music industry?
Um, I think, I grew up in a really musical family. My dad was in like punk bands all throughout my childhood, so I was just obsessed with the whole like vibe of it. I was like, I need to be a part of this somehow, and started picking up instruments at like a young age, and literally throughout since I could remember, music was always the only thing that I enjoyed, the only thing I was like even remotely good at. So there was kind of never any other option for me. Like when I graduated high school, I was like sick. Like I guess we're going to LA now. We're going to try to make this work. So there's never really been another option. I just have kind of had to like full send it in the music direction because I don't think anything else would like actually make me happy.
Do you have a favorite musical memory that you can think of?
Oh, that's a cool question. One of my this is a concert, but like one of my favorite concert experiences was at Lollapalooza in 2019, I think. Yeah. It was Tame Impala and like watching them like with the Chicago skyline behind them. It was like the coolest thing ever. And then I got to like play Lolla the next day. So it was just like a cool, like surreal kind of moment for me. That was really rad.
What was it like for you starting out in such a competitive industry?
Um yeah, that was definitely a slap in the face. I feel like when you move to LA and do music, like everybody was just like you in their hometown. Like all of us got to make the rounds at the venues and felt like hot shit in our hometown. And then we all come to LA and it's like, yo, there's like a clone of you like 5 miles down the road who like does the same thing. That was definitely a slap in the face, but I also think it was a really cool, like humbling moment and also just like cool, how do I like find my footing and like figure out like what my lane is in music. And I definitely used the challenge to just like inspire me to like dive deeper into figuring out my sound. But what I think is cool, and like my publisher, when I first met him, his name's David Gray. The best advice he like ever gave me, he was like, this is a very competitive, industry to be in. Obviously, it can drive you crazy. And he was like, don't compare yourself to other people, which is like such a cheesy, basic thing to say. But he was like, instead of doing that, compare yourself to where you were a year ago. And like, that's the only comparisons you get to do. And like, that literally like changed my life because now, whenever I compare myself to where I was a year ago, I'm like, cool, like, year ago me would be proud. So, like, we're doing good.
Other than moving, obviously, how do you find inspiration for your music?
Yeah, moving to LA was definitely like a big thing that I love to write about. Now I just try to pull from like, it sounds so dramatic, but like any little feeling I feel, or if I'm feeling some type of way, I try to just like exaggerate that feeling and then like make a song about it. All of us went through a really, really shitty year this past year. So I like wrote my EP Young Life Crisis based off of my meltdown that I had in 2020. Um, I went through like a shitty breakup, so I've been writing a lot about that. I just try to pull from like pretty much like any, life experience from my songs.
Stop is your first release of this year. How are you feeling about that?
Amazing. It's crazy because we made that song like over a year ago, and I've been obsessed with it ever since we made it, but I've never really found like the right time to put it out. We almost put it out at the beginning of quarantine in 2020, and I was like, I don't know if this is the vibe right now, so we dropped like another song instead, and then just kind of put Stop on the back burner. And then it just made sense now to drop it, and I'm stoked that people are digging it. It's definitely in a more like poppier direction than, like my last EP, which I really enjoy. Like I think it's going to be so fun to play on tour because it's so like dancey. So yeah, I'm stoked it's finally out in the world.
Could you see yourself like trying different genres in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's so there's this like, I feel like some sort of pressure kind of put on artists, especially like young women. Like people just love to put them in like a box and like tie a little bow on it and be like, this is the kind of music you make. And it's like, I'm 22. My music has changed so much just in the past like year. And so I feel like as as I grow as a person, my music is gonna change, and I also think we're entering into an era with, like, an artist like Billie Eilish who's just, like, genre bending the fuck out of everything, and so I feel like genres barely exist anymore. So I think it's a really freeing, like, creative space to be in. Like, people are just making cool music and, like, don't really care what box it fits into.
Yeah. From your first song that came out almost 2 years ago now to releasing Stop, which is your first one of the year, have you seen your music change in a sense?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. And what's weird is it hasn't really been, like, something I've done, like, what's the word? Purposefully. Like, it's just kind of happened naturally as I've grown older. Like, the first song I put out as UPSAHL, like, I was 19 and had never been in a session before. It was from my first ever, like, real session was that song, "Can You Hear Me Now?" And then since then, I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was when I put that first song out. So naturally the music has just changed with it. I also like the artists that inspire me have changed and I've, pulled inspiration from those sounds. And yeah, so I feel like 2 years from now, my music's probably going to be completely different. And I'll probably look back at a song like Stop and be like, whoa, like, who even is she? Like, I feel like it's just part of life, which it's cool to have music almost as this like history book for like my life.
Yeah. Do you have any future projects that you could hint or tell us about?
Yeah, I'm working on an album right now. It'll be my first album. I've done 2 EPs so far, so I'm stoked to do like a larger body of work. Yeah, I'm just in Zoom sessions pretty much every day writing a lot of songs and yeah, I'm very stoked to share them all with people. My goal for like this year is to just drop as much music as I can. So that'll definitely be coming this year.
How long have you been thinking about your debut album? Like, has that always been on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was in high school, I was also making music, that sounded very different than the music I make now, but, yeah, I put out, like, 3 albums when I was in high school, so I loved the album process, like, getting to do a track listing of, like, 12 songs and, like, recording interludes between songs, like, I was just obsessed with the idea of making, like, one whole body of work, and getting to do vinyl and the artwork, like, it was really exciting for me. So now that I am under like a different artist project and the sound is more like me, I'm excited to do my first like Upsaw album. I'm super stoked for it.
This is more of a fun question for you, but if you could describe yourself and then your music in 3 words, what do you think they would be?
That's cool. Big dick energy. Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Do you have an ideal collaboration for the future?
Um, Someone I've been wanting to collab with forever, and I think I will continue to say it in every interview until it happens, is Doja Cat. Like, I'm obsessed with her. I think she's the baddest bitch. And yeah, that'll be very fun.
Mhm. Do you have a favorite song at the moment to go with that?
My favorite song right now, actually for the past year, has been Bad Girls by MIA. Like, literally, feel like I listen to that song an embarrassing amount of times. Like, I listen to it at least once a day. It's like my, like, hype up daily, like, bad bitch anthem. So yeah, I think that will forever be, like, my favorite song.
Your style is amazing, I just want to say. Do you
Oh,
have
thanks.
any like people that you draw inspiration off of for your style?
I draw it from, like, the '90s, like, I loved Gwen Stefani and, like, No Doubt. I can't rock low-rise pants like Gwen did, but, like, I definitely will go through, like, old, um, like, pics of Gwen and, like, what she would wear on stage and, like, for music videos, and I try to kinda do my version of that just because growing up, like, I was obsessed with her and I thought she was the coolest person, so I try to kinda, like, continue to draw style inspiration from her.
Our website is mostly about up and coming artists. Do you have anyone that you've had your eye on or that you would recommend to others?
Oh, cool. I'm trying to think. I listen to a bunch of, like, weird shit. Let me go to my Spotify. There's this artist, his name is Tommy Newport, who is rad. We played a show together in San Francisco, I think, a while ago, and then we also played some shows together in the UK, and he's rad. He has this song called Movie Screen that's, like, fire that y'all should check out.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Dope. Thank you for having me. This was fun.